day for us.
And on a slightly more slippery note, how's your etching and sketching going? Have you been having words with Mitt's senior aides about their little gaffe
You know,
today?
this is the distractions. These are what happen. This is exactly what happens in a campaign, where you get these distractions. And obviously, he was talking about how we're going to change focus, and we're going to change, you know, what we're going to do in the organizational sense of changing, not Mitt changing positions. And so these are just the frustrations that you have to deal with in a campaign. And of course, it makes for great media. It's a distraction. It's a distraction because what we're talking about is an economic message. It's a jobs message. It's talking about you know, capping spending, balancing budgets.
Are you going to make Eric write out? Are you going to make Eric write out 100 times on an Etch-A-Sketch? I'm very sorry.
I think that's a great idea. Great idea, Piers. We'll have him do that.
I've got to ask you this. Robert DeNiro's apologized today because he made this joke about all the wives of the Republican candidates and saying America isn't ready for a white first lady, which seems to have upset everybody. What was your view of that?
I laughed. You know what? I took it for what it was, a joke. And you know, again, we take everything so seriously. We have to be so correct, and everyone's got to apologize. And I can say, you know what? I can laugh at it. That's just, let's take it for what it is. We're all overreacting to so many things and making things so difficult, which means we have to watch every single word that comes out of our mouth. We can't be spontaneous. We can't be funny. We can't. I will tell you, in politics, the fastest way to get in trouble is to make a joke. So I think Robert De Niro has just learned that. I was with Mitt this morning, and Jeb just called Mitt on his cell phone. We didn't know he was going to endorse. We didn't have any heads up at all. It was, the phone rang, and it was Jeb. And, you know, I didn't hear the Jeb side of the conversation, but I could sort of tell what was going on, and I was delighted. You know, he's a very important voice in our party. I respect him enormously. But I will tell you, Barbara Bush is also, you know, out there fighting for us too, so that's been great. To have Jeb's endorsement, I think, is a huge, huge day for us.
So is he watching tonight? Will he be watching this interview?
He's watching.
Is there anything you'd like to say to your husband on this auspicious occasion?
Hi, sweetheart, I love you.
You are
Maybe we'll celebrate another day.
You are talking to Mitt, right?
I am talking, yes, no, it's to you, Piers.
Now, I want to play you. I love this. You made this wonderful video to celebrate your 43rd wedding anniversary, and I want to play one of the clips. It was a lovely thing to watch. Just watch this.
We didn't want any parties. We didn't want anything fancy. We just wanted to get married. We compromised and waited until March 21st. And March 21st happened to have been 4 years after our first date. 1 year later, our oldest son, Tag, was born on March 21st as well. So that's sort of an important day in our life.
And it goes on in that vein. And what I really liked was when you told the story of when you were both 16, I think, or certainly, were you both the same age, both 16 at the time?
He's a much more senior person. He was 18.
So you're 16 and 18, and he goes off on this missionary work, his Mormon missionary work, for about 2.5 years, a very long time, after you've met and you sort of fallen for each other.
Actually, I was, right, yeah. I was about, because he went to Stanford for a year, so it was when I was 17 that he actually left, yeah.
Right, so you have this 2.5 year gap, but you say in the video, when you saw each other again after all that time, it was literally like time had stood still.
Right. That's exactly what happened. He came off that airplane, hadn't seen him for 2.5 years, and as though time dissolved. And it was extraordinary because the emotional connection we had before he left, the depth of love that we had for each other, it was as though he had never even been gone for a moment, and it was right back to where we were, which was why it was shocking to my parents and to his parents when we announced on the car ride home, when we got out of the car and said, oh, by the way, everybody, we're getting married, like now.
Well, it certainly was the right decision. 43 years later.